Hello and welcome to Read Right Now. Well, this week we're doing things slightly differently because while I stay here in Dublin finding out how community groups get online, you'll be seeing how this week's learner did it for herself. Biddy McDonough is a member of Cork's travelling community and very involved with her local groups. We followed her progress as she looked into setting up a website, met with a representative of Mowalia, and then collected all the elements needed for the site. Later in the programme, I'll be finding out just who Mowalia are and what they do. But first, let's meet Biddy.
I've got 8 children, 5 girls and 3 boys, from 19 and a half down to 4 years. Well, I went back to literacy classes because I wanted to help the children with their homework, be able, if they asked a question from a book, be able to answer them and help them with it. And for my own self-esteem as well, I went back. I wanted to have a better future for the children, and that was a better future for myself. Oh, look at all the tigers. Oh, look at. And if I couldn't read or write, well, I wouldn't be able to help them with a bit of homework. So therefore, they'd be going into school next morning and they wouldn't have their homework done properly, and like they'd be getting bad marks for that. So like they're doing well in school, and because they're able to read and write themselves, but because I can read and write as well, and I can help them. Put in your hand. You put your hand out. Well, no, I don't know. Yeah, the one. Did you put in your mouth? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's your one out. I had a very limited education, and I want the children to have the best education that I can give them, and what to do with that in their own lifetime, it's up to them really, but I can push them now while they're young to get the best education. I only went as far as primary school. I left school when I was 11, and as I was the eldest of the girls at the time, and my mother her health wasn't great. Travelling girls from 11 to 12 and that confirmation made, they had no business being in school. So I left school when I had my confirmation. Come on. Come on, Patrick.
No, I won't go on the monkey.
Come on. Yeah. Travelling women that time used to have big families, and the girls would be home helping the mothers. Okay, Patrick and Julianne, do you want to write a letter to Santa? Pictures there. Secondary school wasn't even nice pictures in people's minds at that time. My literacy level was very limited when I left school. I really didn't know how to read and write. I would have difficulty in spelling words. I would actually leave out letters at the end, and I thought they would be spelled proper, but there wouldn't. There'd be actually letters left out. I had difficulty with that.
We come across words we know all the time, but sometimes we see words which look familiar but are just a little different. This spelling tip is about a very common word ending, ly, which you often see attached to the ends of words we know. Ly is pronounced lee when it appears at the end of words. So what kinds of words is ly added to? Well, generally, ly is added to words to tell us more about an action. Okay, let's think of a few action words. What about these? Shout, sing, ask. Now we can use words ending in ly to describe a little bit more about these actions. For example, shout loudly, sing softly, and ask politely. As you can see, all these words that tell us more about the actions have ly added to them. The root words don't change when we add ly. However, when we add ly to some root words, we need to change the spelling of that word. What about these words? Happy, angry. Watch what happens when we add ly to them. The y changes to an I before you can add ly. Therefore, these words become happily, angrily. So don't forget to look out for words that end in ly. You should now be able to recognise the root word and the action it's describing.
Well, there's a literacy class in Matin every Thursday morning. There's a group of sisters that go down there on Thursday morning. It's really family literacy.
Paprika.
Anne McKiernan is the group organiser for the Mahon Family Literacy Scheme.
The group that we're working with at the moment is kind of here for the last maybe 3 or 4 years. Any activity that we run here, either be it personal development, childcare, cookery, all has a literacy theme.
2 tablespoons of tomato.
We all get on with one another and there's great banter going on at times. Once this group starts in the morning, we normally might come in and have a cup of tea and chat on how are the children getting on, and there might be something after happening since we met last week, and that's all discussed. And it's a very easy group, but at the same time the women are learning, and that's the main aim, that the women learn.
At Truth Literacy, you're not really down on a book and pencil writing down. At the end of when we're doing the cooking, at the end of it, we'll be writing up lists of ingredients and that. So it was interesting. You make it interesting as well.
We do a lot of reading and writing. We do cooking through reading and writing. We done childcare through reading and writing.
It was actually in this class that we done the childcare, and we worked on it for a good couple of months, and then we had to wait to find out whether we were after passing or not, and we actually passed. I've actually a picture of me, Hall, and myself after receiving my award for childcare, and my 6 daughters.
Biddy would be the coordinator as such. She would over all the literacy schemes. Biddy would trot in and out and visit us, and I suppose we'd be on our best behaviour when Biddy comes to visit.
As a coordinator for all the local schemes, Biddy spends a lot of her time travelling from group to group. She decided it would be a good idea to set up a web page that all the groups could access for up-to-date information. She approached one of the tutors, Una Long, to help her get started.
Una, I was thinking about setting up a web page for our local groups.
I've heard of a very good website. It's called Movalia. Movalia is an Irish word. It's my home, and it's local. It's for local community groups. It's fairly new. It's only after being set up, and I think really like that would be an ideal place to start your web page. And I suppose to write to them would be the best method of contacting them.
Una, would you give me a bit of help and doing it?
Would want to start and put your own address now right up here in the corner.
This week's writing tip is all about writing formal letters, something all of us have to do from time to time. When we write letters and emails to family and friends, it doesn't matter very much about what the letter looks like or how it's formatted. This type of writing is known as informal writing. However, sometimes we have to write formal letters. For example, when we write letters to a bank, apply for a job, or make a complaint. Let's look at what information is included in a job application letter. In a letter like this, you need to include your address and the address of the person to whom you're writing. Your address goes at the top right of the letter, and the address of the person you're sending the letter to goes just below it on the left-hand side. The date normally goes underneath your address over on the right. And the letter starts with a formal greeting of some kind, like Dear Sir or Madam, or to whom it may concern. If you know the name of the person you're writing to, then use this including their title. For example, Dear Ms. Daly, or Dear Mr. Dwyer. Once you've finished your letter, you need to sign off with a formal phrase, such as yours sincerely. Writing formal letters isn't that difficult. Once you remember the main parts we've listed here, you're more than halfway there. Having received a reply to her letter, Biddy met Mowalia representative Lorna Maxwell in Cork City Hall to discuss what she needed to do next.
Well, what we want the website, hope we want the website for, is so we can link all our groups here in Cork. We have 8 local groups in local areas in Cork. And we have one group, central group, that's dealing with education in St John's College.
As you can see from here, this would be the group's name going along here. And then on the left-hand side, there's all the different types of things that the website can have on it. Well, maybe before we go into it then too much, I get an idea of what kind of groups you work with.
They're all locally based groups, and would be get women involved in anything from basic cookery, through literacy, get them involved in relaxation, aromatherapy, health and fitness for women, to have social outings. And then the St John's College is totally education.
Each course could be identified, the venue, you could put a picture up of the venue and you could have a map of where the course is being run.
Well, we'd want it to be as visual as possible. Lots of pictures. Lots of pictures. You need to keep the language simple and maybe use a voiceover or have a little button that they could hear actually what's being said.
Yeah, we could arrange that there's, if you work out what is wanted.
Biddy and Lorna continued to work on the details of the website. In Dublin, Derek is visiting the local government computer services board to find out a bit more about Mowalia.
I'm joined now by Breach Carter, who's the director of the local government computer services board, and the assistant director, who's Tim Willoughby. Now tell me about Mowalia.
We've been developing now for a little over a year. We have 7 local authorities who are part of our pilot phase of the project, and obviously our hope and expectation is that will actually evolve so that most, if not all, local authorities will have their version of Mowalia over time.
And tell me who it's available to exactly, Tim.
Anybody who's in a community and voluntary group or a sports club, or anybody in a residents association, parish group.
And tell me, as I'm listening to you speaking, I'm wondering just how much computer experience I would need.
Based on your own experience, when you come in the door, we'll take you to where you want to be and what you're comfortable with. Because again, the last thing this project wants to do is make you uncomfortable with the technology.
For other people, Breach, like Biddy, how can they access this service?
The simplest answer to that is that if they live in one of the pilot counties, they just contact their county council and they say, I want to be part of Mowalia.
Great. Well, our free phone number, if you want to get a copy of the Read Right Now workbook, is 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. You can call it now, the lines are open. It's a free phone number and the workbook is free also. Or if you're feeling particularly interactive as we're discussing this today, you might want to go online and visit our website. It's www.readrightnow.ie. That's www.readrightnow.ie, and you can do some additional exercises online. Now, while we go off to have a look at Biddy's website, here's Laura to tell you what else is available online.
This week's Get It is about using the internet and technology to find information and access services in the community. You'd be amazed just how much you can do nowadays without ever having to leave your home. All you need is a computer and an internet connection. If you've ever had to renew your motor tax, you might have memories of long queues, taking tickets, lots of documents and checks. Well, that's all changed. Now you can go to your local authority's website and pay your tax online. You need your car details and a bank account. Once you've filled in a form, your new tax disc will be sent to you in the post. Easy as that. Want to go to a concert? Just go to ticketmaster.ie and buy your tickets online. The same is true for cinema tickets, airline tickets, and even rail tickets. Speaking of travel, you can now go online to find out the time of the next train to Westport, the sailing to Holyhead, or the flight to Barcelona. And if you go to movalia.ie, you'll be able to check out what's happening in your area, along with information about local groups and services. The list goes on. Now granted, not everything is available online just yet, but there is more and more available all the time.
Red FM's Music Marathon plays next. 30 minutes non-stop music. No ads. Red FM.
Hi, I'm here to see Colin.
Yeah, no bother. Take a seat. Can I get your name?
P.D. McDonough.
Take a seat there.
I'm just here at 96 FM to do a voiceover for our webpage for the local women's groups.
Eddie, how are you?
Hi,
nice to meet you.
Colin.
Do you want to follow me and shall we get on record? Super. After you. How are you keeping?
Well, this is just what we want to record
Okay.
and the voiceover for our webpage.
Lovely stuff. Okay.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll just set you up over here by the microphone. So if you just want to, standing is probably the better thing. If you just put these on you, and we just test for level and stuff, so you can hear yourself, and so I can get a level on the microphone and stuff.
Okay.
So if you want to put those on you,
Okay.
I'll go over to the computer. Okay.
Welcome to the Cork Travellers Education Council website. This site is the result of many years of hard work by a group of travel women who had a dream of a better way forward.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
The result of many years. The Cork Council website. This site is the result of many years of hard work.
Okay, Biddy. Thanks very much. There you
Thanks
go.
very
No
much.
problem. No problem.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Biddy was one of the first members of the Cork Travellers Women's Network, who helped to fund and organise many groups in the area. One of their most successful is a literacy group for traveller women of all ages.
This is St John's College and I'm here to do my ECDL and hopefully get a few pictures for our webpage. Well, in St John's College we have over 100 students and we go there once every week, every Thursday night, and that's running for the past 4 or 5 years. And we started off with 16 women and as it says we have over 100, and we do from one-to-one to ECDL. The role of the travel woman has changed in the travel community for the past couple of years, especially educational wise. She's the one who's pushing the children all the time to stay in school. There is a lot more available now for travelling women, even going out to the groups. They can access things through the groups that they never would have accessed before. There's a lot of travelling women doing the computers now, so that has opened their mind up to a lot that a few years ago they never would have thought of that. And there's actually women in St John's College now that never would have taken a pencil in their hand, and now they're in there like and they're writing and reading away. Now we're doing a course, it's called ECDL, and we're doing the first test last year and we did very well in that, and we're doing that this year as well, so we're hoping to pass that, so that's what I'm aiming for now. We'd have our disc and we'd have all our stuff in that disc.
You get CD-ROMs everywhere these days, from computer shops, free in newspapers, even with your free Read Right Now 5-pack. Every computer now has a CD-ROM drive like this. Pressing the button on the front makes a drawer come out. Put your disc on it, press the button again, and the CD is taken back into the computer. Now, every CD-ROM is slightly different, but there are some common words and phrases you should see. Let's look at a few of these. The word menu is very common, and just as the menu in a restaurant tells you what food is available, a CD menu tells you what software is available on a disc. In this example, the Equals Skills CD menu has 4 choices or options. You can choose whichever option you like by clicking on it. Let's try looking in the section Introduction to the Desktop. Now, computer screens are often laid out a little differently to pages in a book. At the top, you'll normally see a heading. The main information is in a box in the middle of the screen, and the buttons that allow you to move around are at the bottom. The Go On button flashes when you need to go on to the next screen. If you want to go back over anything, just click on the Go Back button. When you're finished, click on the Quit button to close the program. So while every CD-ROM is slightly different, they all tend to have on-screen buttons and instructions telling you what to do next. And if you ever get stuck, just look for the X or Quit button. Another of the groups Biddy is involved in is held in the Farnree Family Centre. They meet every Thursday morning and are currently working on a unique project.
Hi,
Oh, hi, Biddy. Very nice this morning, Biddy.
Thanks.
Very colourful.
Okay, Helen, what's we doing this morning?
Patches, all the patches from the different groups. We've about 18, 19.
Travelers in Cork are doing a project for 2005 and it's a wagon project, it's called. We're doing one quilt as a wall hanging for it to be hung in the museum, and that would involve like all of the groups would do different patches from campfires and cooking stuff they used to use years ago and clothes they used to wear years ago. And that'll be as a wall hanging inside in the museum, and we're hoping to get that finished now within the next couple of weeks. Would you mind if I do a small bit of video of what you're doing there? So, well, we hope that it will give people like a better insight into travelling community. That we are trying to get on with our life, and we're trying to do the best that we can for our families, and we are contributing to our communities as well.
The Wagon project began in January 2004. Their aim was to have it and all the associated projects completed by the end of December so they could participate in the Cork 2005 City of Culture celebration. Mary O'Sullivan is one of the coordinators of the Cork Travellers Women's Network.
Hi Mary.
Hi Biddy.
Hi, I'm just here to see how the wagon is progressing, and mind if I take a picture of it.
And this project here is it's a project of the Cork Traveller Women's Network, and I suppose we're actually building a life-size barrel-top wagon as an educational programme. It also fits into the traveller literacy scheme element of the work that we're doing. It's a learning by doing project. The impact it has had on the community as a whole has been huge on a cultural level, but also on an educational level.
You know, if I click on the play intro,
yeah,
you can hear.
Welcome to the Cork Travellers Education Council website.
That's great, isn't it? So immediately you get a feeling for the person who's actually set up the site as well, which is great. By hearing their voice, it makes it more personal.
Absolutely. Biddy's site would be based on a standard template that all of the community and voluntary groups will get. And then what we've done is we've worked with Biddy to customise it.
Smile now, girls.
And we're training her, and we'll be training her more on how she's going to use the template to personalise it even more and add her community information up.
While Biddy has been sorted, and more to be sorted in the coming years, I've no doubt, here's a look back at what we covered in today's programme.
In this week's reading tip, we looked at some of the common items you might have to read if you put a CD-ROM into your computer. We learned how words like menu, help and exit can be very useful as you follow on-screen instructions. Our writing tip explained how we need to format letters differently when we are writing formally. Your address goes in the top right, The address of the person to whom you're sending the letter goes to the left, and the letter begins with something like "to whom it may concern" and ends with "yours sincerely." We learned that ly is added to words to tell us more about an action, as in loudly and quickly. But sometimes, if the word we want to change ends in y, we need to change that y to an I, as in happily and angrily. And finally, this week's Get It was about using the internet to do many things online, such as paying your motor tax, checking your bank balance, and buying cinema tickets.
Well, Tim, thanks very much indeed for showing me around, telling me
welcome.
about Mowalia, and on behalf of Biddy, her group, and every group like Biddy's, well done and a great job.
Thanks very much.
Okay, that's all we have for in this programme. We'll be back again in the new year, and I'll be looking at literacy classes for non-nationals living in Ireland. So until then, goodbye.
We